Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Sauce. Got some Friday night NBA. I'm going to go through 5 or 6 games. Whatever I don't get to, we'll go through on the live show tomorrow. I got 3 guests tomorrow. We got Prop Beaver as always, Josh Lander, and Crispy Captain. So there's going to be 4 of us. Should be an awesome Friday. As far as Thursday night, I had a good one. Another good one, man. So I went 4-1 in my bets, picked up close to 2 units. Nuggets came through for me. Pistons came through for me. My only loss was the Heat, and I knew it. If you watch the live show, I said it 10 times. I'm like, I got a feeling this bet's going to lose. I kept saying it. Bet the Heat anyway, took the loss. But a great Thursday night. Let's keep it rolling. Friday, let's go. Real quick, so right after I finished recording that, I went and updated the results for last night on the website. We now went up over plus 40 units for this NBA season. I've never been plus 40 units in a single season ever in any sport since I started doing this professionally 4 years ago. Got me a little emotional, man, because for those of you that are around for the college football collapse, we'll call it, for those of you that weren't around, I started off the college football season red hot. Well, NFL too. I started off the college football season with 7 straight winning weeks. It was. And I got all these new viewers, ton of new eyes on me. And then I hit the coldest streak of my life. I couldn't hit a bet to save my life the second half of the college football season. And I got a lot of hate for it, which, I get it. Being cold sucks. And then it was rough. But since college football ended, I went 10-3 against the spread in the NFL playoffs, killed that and got a ton of views. And then I'm having the best NBA season of my professional career. So truly, those of you that stuck with me through that, I can never thank you enough. Seriously, your support's the best. Let's keep it rolling. Let's finish this season strong. Thanks again.
Welcome to The Sauce. The Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
First up, we got Charlotte on the road in Washington. Looks like the Wizards are laying 3 points at home. The total sitting at 227. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. And according to the model, we should see a 1-point Washington win. Final score 114-113 Wizards. Injuries and inactives, and we'll start with Charlotte. LaMelo Ball still out. Seth Curry still out. Cody Martin still out. Mark Williams still out. Trey Mann is also on the injury report. He's listed as questionable. On the Washington side, we got Landry Shamet on the injury report. He's listed as questionable. Marvin Bagley is also on there. He's been ruled out. Before we get into this one, we need to point out that this Hornets team is rested. Coming into this one on 2 days rest. On the season, though, on 2 days rest, Charlotte's just 1-10 straight up. So they haven't been very good in these spots. And check this out. On 2 or 3 days rest this year, Charlotte is just 4-9 against the spread. That's the worst in the NBA. Betting trends on the Charlotte side, just 3-4 against the spread in their last 7 overall. They are 4-2 against the spread in their last 6 on the road, though. On the Washington side, just 2-6 against the spread in their last 8. 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 at home. This particular head-to-head matchup, Charlotte's just 1-3 against the spread in their last 4 meetings against the Wizards, but they are 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 trips to Washington. The Hornets have been trending heavily towards unders, 1-9 to the under in the last 10 Hornets games, 1-6 to the under in their last 7 on the road. Washington, however, has been trending heavily towards overs, 7-2 to the over in the last 9 Wizards games. This particular head-to-head matchup has trended towards the under, 2-5 to the under in their last 7 meetings in Washington. So let's match these two teams up on the court. We'll start with some overall net efficiency numbers here. On the last 10 games, you can see the Hornets have been better, 20th versus 30th for the Wizards, but the Hornets have also played a much easier schedule. In the last 10 games, they're 19th in strength of schedule, while the Wizards are all the way up at 2nd. So the Hornets have better looking numbers than the Wizards in the last 10, but they've played an easier schedule. We also need to take note that we got a serious pace discrepancy here. In the last 10 games, the Wizards are first. They're running the fastest pace in the NBA right now. Hornets back at 23rd. The thing is, the last 2 times Charlotte played a team in the top 5 in pace, they won outright. They beat the Hawks and they beat the Pacers straight up. Before that, they saw this Wizards team 3 times in November. They beat them 2 out of 3. So I don't know if the fast pace from the Wizards is something to worry about here for Charlotte. When we look at the matchup for the Hornets offense, it's kind of tough to make a call here. I mean, both these units, the Hornets offense and the Wizards defense, neither of them are very good. You can see EFG, the edge goes to Charlotte in the last 10 games, but as we pointed out, Hornets have played an easier schedule. And look at the rebounding edge. Wizards have a nice little rebounding edge on the defensive side. I do like the matchup for the Hornets offense in terms of shot zones, though. As we know, Hornets take a ton of jump shots. They run a Brooklyn Nets type offense. In the last 10 games, they're 4th in shot frequency from above the break, 5th from the long mid-range shot. And if we were recording this about a month ago, I'd say, hey, the Wizards play great defense against that above the break 3 shot. But in the last 10 games, now they have played a strong schedule, but still, these defensive numbers don't look good for the Wizards. Against the long mid-range shot, 25th in efficiency. Against the above the break 3, 24th in efficiency. So Charlotte, on paper, should be a favorable matchup for their offense. Now, I do have one positive angle for Washington's defense, though. Charlotte doesn't really get out in transition much, which is huge because Wizards defense is terrible against the fast break. On the season, they're 29th in defensive efficiency in transition. But look at the Hornets' offensive numbers there, 26th and 21st in the fast break. So it's fortunate for the Wizards to be playing a team that doesn't really run the fast break. On the other side of the court, we got the Wizards offense, and this is definitely a mismatch in favor of Charlotte. The Hornets have been playing great defense, and this is ultimately why I bet Charlotte. Spoilers, I'm on the Hornets here. Look at EFG in the last 10 games. Now, I know the Wizards have played a stronger schedule, but still, we're talking about a blatant mismatch here. 7th to 25th. Turnover rate, 5th to 17th. Free throw rate, 6th to 29th. The only major stat category on this graphic where the Wizards have the edge would be offensive rebounding rate, and it's 23rd to 25th. It's not even a mismatch. So, like I said, I know the Wizards have played a stronger schedule in the last 10, but the edge definitely goes to the Hornets defense here. I will say, though, the fact that this Hornets team struggles in the rebounding department might be huge here. Washington on the season, 10-6-1 against the spread against teams in the bottom 10 of rebounding rate. So the Wizards have really struggled in the rebounding department all year. When they've gotten opportunities to win the rebounding battle, like this game right here, it looks like they've taken advantage of it. They have a winning record against the number. As always, when we're looking at a Wizards game and we're talking about their offense, you got to look at the fast break numbers because the Wizards run one of the best fast breaks in basketball, honestly. On the season, they're 4th in frequency, 5th in efficiency. The Wizards don't do anything well except for this. They're very good at running the fast break. Charlotte defensively against the fast break, just okay. 12th in frequency, 9th in efficiency. So Washington should be able to get some points in transition here. The Wizards offense definitely likes to attack the interior here. In the last 10 games, they're 8th in frequency from the short mid-range shot, 13th at the rim. Hornets in those two zones in the last 10. 22nd at the rim. That's obviously not good, but it looks like the Hornets have done a slightly better job protecting the basket because they were 28th, 29th, 30th for several weeks. So the fact that this says 22nd might be an improvement. Against the short mid-range shot, though, 6th and 11th in the last 10. If you look at the three-point shooting numbers for the Hornets defense, looks like they're trying to funnel shots out to the perimeter and force you to take threes. 22nd in frequency, meaning they're allowing a lot of attempts, but they're 1st in efficiency. You got guys like Kuzma, Jordan Poole. I could see the Wizards getting trapped into taking a lot of bad threes here. So I like the matchup for Charlotte's defense, which is why I'm on the Hornets here. I grabbed it at +3. Like I said, Charlotte's defense is going to be the best unit on the floor here. Defense travels. I mean, we're talking about the Washington Wizards as favorites. I mean, no way I could lay points with the Wizards here. So give me Charlotte +3. Next game. Pellies on the road in Philly to play the Sixers. Philadelphia catching 6.5 points at home. Total sitting at 224.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we're looking at a 3-point Pellies win. Final score 114-111 New Orleans. Injuries and inactives, and we'll start with the Pellies. Nobody on the report with the exception of Dyson Daniels. He's still out, so Dyson Daniels will not be returning. Everyone else good to go for New Orleans. On the Philly side, Embiid still out, Tyrese Maxey still out, DeAnthony Melton still out, Robert Covington still out. So the same 4 guys that have missed multiple games for Philly, all still out. Everyone else should be good to go. Before we get into this one, we need to point out that the Pellies are rested here, coming into this game on 2 days rest. On the season, New Orleans is 5-3 straight up on 2 days rest, and with 2 or 3 days rest, they're 8-3 against the spread. So Pellies rested have definitely been good against the number. Betting trends on the Pelicans side: 3-1 against the spread in their last 4, 6-4 against the spread in their last 10 on the road, 7-5 against the spread in their last 12 as road favorites. So some nice looking trends there for New Orleans. On the Philly side, good lord, 2-7 against the spread in their last 9 overall, 1-10 against the spread in their last 11 at home, 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 as home dogs. This particular head-to-head matchup is definitely tilted towards the Pellies. 9-3-1 against the spread in their last 13 matchups against the Sixers. So New Orleans have covered at a high rate against the Sixers team. They're also 3-1-1 against the spread in their last 5 trips to Philly. Pellies have also been trending towards the under. 1-5 to the under in their last 6, 2-8 to the under in their last 10 on the road. Philly, however, is 3-1 to the over in their last 4, 3-6 to the under in their last 9 at home. And this particular head-to-head matchup has definitely tilted towards the over. Four straight overs here in meetings between the Sixers and Pelicans, 4-1 to the over in the last 5 meetings in Philadelphia. So let's match these two teams up on the court. We'll start with some overall net efficiency numbers. You can see 3rd to 19th in overall efficiency. Pelicans definitely playing better basketball than Philadelphia is. And these are numbers from the last 5 games. Look at the strength of schedules, 14th to 22nd. So not only do the Pelicans have better efficiency numbers than the Sixers, significantly better, but they've also played a stronger schedule. We'll start with the matchup for New Orleans offense, and Pellies definitely have the edge here. I mean, EFG 7th to 24th. Pelicans also have a significant rebounding edge here, so they should get some second chance points. Free throw rate goes to the Pellies as well. They should get trips to the line. The only category where you could point at a slight edge for Philly would be turnovers, but it's just 11th to 19th. As far as shot zones for New Orleans offense, they're pretty well balanced, so it's hard to point at one specific area because Pelicans can score from everywhere. But they do have a strong presence scoring at the basket. In the last 10 games, they're 11th in frequency, 10th in efficiency. Look at Philly's defensive numbers down there. This is in the last 10 games, 28th and 26th. So a nice little mismatch there for the Pellies offense. Now, normally I wouldn't bring up a graphic to talk about the corner three-point shot because it's such an infrequently used shot. I mean, even the team's first, second in frequency, they only shoot it about 13% of the time. But look at the mismatch in the corner three here. New Orleans, 4th in frequency, 1st in efficiency. So they love that corner three. Philly towards the bottom in the NBA and defending it. Again, it's not that frequent of a shot, but when we're dealing with this much of a mismatch, I thought it was worth mentioning. On the other side of the ball, we got the Sixers offense, and Philly actually should have the offensive rebounding edge here, so maybe Sixers can grab some second chance opportunities, but as a whole, I mean, look at EFG on this side. This is in the last 10 games. 3rd to 23rd, and obviously shot making is the most important part of basketball. New Orleans has the significant edge here on the defensive side, and they've played a stronger schedule, as we said before, so yeah, this is a nice matchup for the Pellies defense. If you are looking for positive angles for the Sixers, you can look at the fast break numbers on the season. They are 2nd in fast break efficiency, and the Pellies defensively 24th in frequency, 14th in efficiency. So on paper, that is a nice mismatch, and maybe Philly can capitalize on that, but how effective is the Sixers fast break without Maxey on the floor? I mean, you got to think he's a huge part of it, so I don't know how much weight I put in that. As far as betting this game, I mean, I don't see any reason to try and touch Philadelphia here. New Orleans would be the only way I would go. I haven't bet this one, but I like the matchup for the Pellies on both sides of the floor. I like the matchup for the offense and the defense. Not that this matters, but Sixers do have the Knicks in Madison Square Garden on deck. So for those of you that like to bet based on stuff like that, I don't think that's that big of a factor. But I'm on the Pellies here. I think I probably will end up throwing a few dollars on this. So give me the Pellies minus 6.5. I'm on New Orleans. Next game. Orlando is on the road in Madison Square Garden. Knicks laying 1.5 points at home. Total sitting at 208.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. And according to the model, Orlando should win outright. Final score 110-105 Magic. Injuries and inactives, and we'll start with Orlando. Wendell Carter on the report. Wendell Carter is listed as questionable. Gary Harris is also on here, but he's listed as probable. Other than that, Magic should be good to go. On the Knicks side, we're looking at the same thing we've seen for the last few Knicks games. OG Anunoby still out. Julius Randle still out. Mitchell Robinson still out. And Jalen Brunson is on the report. He's listed as questionable. So before we get into this one, we need to mention that this is a favorable spot for the Knicks. You got the Orlando Magic on the final game of a 3-game road trip. It's their 3rd game in 4 days against the Knicks at home, who are on 2 days rest here. And the Knicks this season on 2 days rest, 7-2 straight up in those games. On the season with 2 or 3 days rest, the Knicks are 7-5 against the number. Betting trends on the Orlando side look good here, man. Magic 14-4 against the spread in their last 18, 9-4 against the spread in their last 13 on the road. On the Knicks side, basically the opposite, 2-11 against the spread in their last 13 overall, 0-9 against the spread in their last 9 at home. In this particular head-to-head matchup, it's been all Orlando. This is coming from a Knicks fan. We always struggle with the Magic. Orlando 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 meetings with the Knicks, 8-4 against the spread in their last 12 trips to Madison Square Garden. So trust me when I say this, the Magic just are always a thorn in the Knicks side. Orlando's definitely been trending towards unders recently. 1-6 to the under in their last 7 games. On the Knicks side, also trending heavily towards an under. 2-8 to the under in their last 10. 4-16 to the under in their last 20 at home. This particular head-to-head matchup has been all unders. 1-7 to the under in their last 8 meetings. 3-11 to the under in their last 14 meetings in New York City. So let's match these two teams up on the court, and we'll start with some overall net efficiency numbers. Obviously, the Orlando Magic are playing much better basketball than the Knicks. In overall efficiency in the last 10 games, it's 5th to 28th. That being said, look at the strength of schedule. Orlando, 30th. Dead last. In the last 10 games, Orlando analytically has played the easiest schedule in the NBA. Meanwhile, the New York Knicks sitting at 10th. So right off the bat, before we look at anything, we should be thinking the Knicks might be slightly undervalued while the Magic are slightly overvalued. Also, while we have this graphic on the screen, look at the pace numbers in the last 10 games. These are the bottom two, 29th and 30th. Orlando on the season has been really good against other teams that run slow pace. 9-3 against the spread against teams in the bottom 5 of pace. So in these slow pace games where both teams want to play half-court basketball, Orlando's been great in those. So we'll start with the matchup for Orlando's offense, and obviously in the last 10 games, Orlando's going to have the huge edge here. But like we just pointed out, they've played a really easy schedule, and the Knicks have been challenged. But still, this is a pretty big discrepancy here. EFG 3rd to 29th. Orlando also has the significant rebounding edge, 9th to 20th. Free throw rate, they should get plenty of trips to the line. The only angle I see for the Knicks defensively is turnovers. They should be able to force turnovers because everyone does against the Magic. They've had serious problems protecting the basketball. When we look at shot zones for the Magic offense, obviously we go right to the basket because that's what Orlando does. They attack the rim. That's what they've done all season. On the full season, they're first in shot frequency at the rim. In the last 10 games, they're first in shot frequency at the rim. In the last 5 games, they're first in shot frequency at the rim. So their game plan has not changed. This team attacks the basket. Now, if we're looking at numbers from the last 10 games, Knicks at the basket, 30th in frequency, 15th in efficiency. So that's a nice matchup for Orlando. But look what happens when we switch it over to the last 5 games. 29th in frequency, but first in efficiency. So in the last 5 games, Knicks have been funneling their opponents in, forcing them to take contested layups, and it's been working. The reason we need to get to the bottom of these numbers, the Magic on the season, 19-6 against the spread against defenses in the bottom 10 in defensive at the basket. So against teams that can't protect the basket, Orlando's basically been free money. So we really need to figure out if we think this Knicks defense is back or maybe it was just a 5-game sample size. It's a tough call to make. Now, when we flip it around and look at the matchup for the Knicks offense, we're using numbers from the last 10 games. So obviously we have to keep in mind, just like on the other side, Orlando's played a really easy schedule. So these numbers are going to be skewed towards the Magic. You can see EFG 13th to 26th. Turnover rate, I mean, obviously they're skewed towards the Magic. Look at the offensive rebounding rate, though. Orlando, first, Knicks, second. So even though these numbers show Orlando as this elite defensive rebounding team and the Knicks shouldn't get many second chance opportunities here, if you incorporate the strength of schedule, I actually think the Knicks are going to win the battle and get some second chance points here. And you know what? You could say the same thing about the free throw rate numbers here, 20th to 21st. Knicks probably have the edge in that department if it wasn't skewed by the strength of schedule. Really tough to find angles on this side. I mean, we could take a look at some shot zones and you could see Knicks have become a lot more three-point reliant in the last 10 games, kind of looking like the Knicks we saw back in like December. They're shooting a lot of threes. In the last 10 games, they're 5th in corner 3 frequency, 10th from above the break. So they are taking a lot of outside shots. I don't really know what to do with that, though, because look at Orlando's defensive numbers against the 3. 19th and 12th. Like, pretty average, so it's just tough to find an angle. As far as betting this game, I can tell you straight up I want to take the Knicks here. And it's not because I'm a Knicks fan. If you subscribe to this channel, you know I fade the Knicks all the time. I probably fade the Knicks more than I bet the Knicks. But I just think it's a super sharp spot to fade the Magic here, playing that super easy schedule. And this line feels sharp, too, with the Knicks favored, even though the Magic have looked much better than the Knicks recently. So I think Knicks minus 1.5 is a really sharp play. But I don't think I can actually do it. So I'll say Knicks minus 1.5 or pass, but unfortunately, especially with Jalen Brunson listed as questionable, this is going to be a pass for me for now. If I end up on the Knicks, I'll let you know. I'll let you know on the live show tomorrow if I ended up pulling the trigger on the Knicks, but I'm going to say Knicks or pass. Next game. Atlanta on the road in Memphis. Grizzlies are catching 3 points at home, total sitting at 214.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we should see a 4-point Hawks win. Final score 112-108 Atlanta. Injuries and inactives, and we'll start with the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young is still out. Okongwu is still out. Now you could add Jalen Johnson to the list of injured Hawks. He's been ruled out for this game as well. I think he just got hurt in the Cleveland game the other night. On the Memphis side, same pieces. I mean, Marcus Smart still out. Brandon Clark still out. Desmond Bane, Zaire Williams, Watanabe, I already said Marcus Smart. Luke Kennard is listed as doubtful. G.G. Jackson listed as questionable. So, I mean, this is nothing new, though, for the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have been playing with missing pieces all year. Betting trends for Atlanta: 4-2 against the spread in their last 6, 4-10 against the spread in their last 14 on the road, 3-8 against the spread as road favorites. So not the best looking trends there for the Hawks, even though they have covered 4 of their last 6. On the Memphis side, 7-3 against the spread in their last 10, but they've lost 3 in a row at home. 0-3 against the spread in their last 3 at home. 8-3 against the spread in their last 11 as home dogs. This particular head-to-head matchup has tilted towards the Grizzlies. Atlanta just 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 meetings against Memphis. 1-3 against the spread in their last 4 trips to Memphis. Both of these teams have been trending towards unders. Atlanta 2-6 to the under in their last 8. On the Memphis side, 4-10 to the under in their last 14. 4-7 to the under in their last 11 at home. This particular head-to-head matchup, though, has gone over. 4-2 to the over in the last 6 meetings between these two. So let's match these teams up on the court, and we'll start with some overall net efficiency numbers. In the last 10 games, Hawks are 13th in overall efficiency. Grizzlies back at 24th. Strength of schedule, 25th to 20th in favor of Memphis. So I guess slight edge to the Grizzlies in strength of schedule, but really not much. We'll start with the matchup for the Hawks offense, and kind of tough to call here. In the last 10 games, Memphis defensively, 5th in efficient field goal percentage, which is great. It's the most important stat category. Atlanta back at 20th. But the underlying numbers, I mean, look at the offensive rebounding rate, 7th to 30th. So a huge rebounding edge for the Hawks defense. And free throw rate. Hawks have been having problems protecting the basketball. Now, the numbers I have up here are the last 10 games, and they're sitting at 11th. So you're probably like, what do you mean? Look what happens when I switch it to the last 5 games. They're back at 23rd. The reason that's significant, that's been the strength of the Grizzlies defense all year, is forcing turnovers. In the last 10 games, they're 4th in forced turnover rate. In the last 5 games, they're 5th. So the fact that the Hawks are having problems protecting the basketball, entering a game in Memphis, that's huge. When it comes to shot zones for the Hawks offense, obviously we know they're going to be attacking the interior. In the last 5 games, they're 7th in frequency at the rim, 9th in frequency from the short mid-range. These numbers are weird because if you remember, about 2 weeks ago, right before the All-Star break, Memphis was really struggling to protect the basket. Look at the last 5 games. They're back up to 6th. Now, Jaren Jackson Jr. returned from injury 3 games ago. Maybe that's part of it. But they were struggling to protect the rim before he got hurt. So maybe Memphis has turned things around. Maybe they've had a fortunate schedule, but numbers don't lie. Memphis has great numbers protecting the basket in the last 5, even though that wasn't the case a couple weeks back. And I mean, it does make sense that Memphis would have good numbers protecting the rim because on the season, they are 4th in defensive efficiency at the basket. It was just a bad stretch there. And the reason that's important, on the season, Atlanta's just 7-15 against the spread against defenses in the top 10 of efficiency at the basket. So they've struggled against teams that can protect the rim like that. On the other side of the court, we got the Memphis offense. And check this out. Grizzlies have a nice edge in the offensive rebounding department. Grizzlies have been active on the offensive glass lately, so should be some second chance points there for Memphis. But the other numbers on this graphic definitely point towards the Hawks defense in the last 10. Not necessarily because the Hawks defense has been any good. It's just, as we know, Memphis offensively has not been a strong unit. One thing the Grizzlies have done a good job of is getting to the foul line. In the last 10 games, they're 3rd in free throw rate, but look at the Hawks defense. They're 5th. So I don't know if those trips to the free throw line are going to be there for the Grizzlies in this one. A huge weakness for the Hawks defense this season has been stopping the fast break. They have one of the worst fast break defenses in the NBA. They're 22nd in frequency, 30th in efficiency this season. But Memphis doesn't really run the fast break. 18th in frequency, 27th in efficiency. So Grizzlies not really equipped to exploit Atlanta in that department. And if we pull up shot zones for Memphis offensively, there's really 2 zones to look at here. Memphis takes a lot of those short mid-range shots. In the last 10 games, they're 4th in frequency from that zone. Hawks have great defensive numbers there. In the last 10 games, they're 2nd and 5th against that short mid-range shot. And the other zone Memphis frequents is the above the break 3. They're 9th in frequency there in the last 10. And that's been the story with Memphis all season. They've always been taking a lot of those threes. Look at the Hawks defense against that shot in the last 10 games. 19th in frequency, 6th in efficiency. So as bad as the Hawks defense is, it might be a matchup where the Hawks can play some good defense here. As far as betting this game, I honestly can't even believe I'm saying this. I think Atlanta's the move here. I mean, I can't believe I'm even considering laying points with the Hawks on the road with their current injury situation, but I like this matchup for Atlanta's defense. I know that sounds crazy, but I think Memphis is really going to struggle to score points in this game. So I like the Hawks. Whether I bet, you know what I'm thinking? I'm either going to lay the 2.5, 3 with Atlanta. I'm looking at the team total right here. Memphis team total at 106.5. You can get the under at -120 on ESPN Bet. Give me that. Give me the Grizzlies team total under 106.5 next game. Milwaukee on the road in LA to play the Lakers. Looks like the Lakers are either, I think it's -1.5, but I also see a +1.5. I see a +1. I see a -1. This line is circling around a pick'em. So by the time you're watching this, I don't know what it's going to be. I'm seeing several options open. So let's just call it a pick'em for the video. Total sitting at 234.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. And according to the model, we should see a 2-point Bucks win. Final score 115-113 Milwaukee. Injuries and inactives, and we'll start with Milwaukee. Giannis is on the injury report again, but he's listed as probable, so he most likely plays. Chris Middleton is still out, though, for the Bucks. On the Lakers side, LeBron James listed as questionable. Surprise, surprise. Anthony Davis is listed as probable. Vanderbilt might be back for the Lakers. He missed a bunch of games. He's on the report listed as probable. Cam Reddish listed as probable. Gabe Vincent and Christian Wood still out for the Lakers. Betting trends for the Bucks are looking solid here. Milwaukee 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 overall. 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 on the road. Just 2-5 against the spread as road dogs, though. Bucks have been a lot better as road favorites. 2-5 against the spread as road dogs. On the Lakers side, just 2-6 against the number in their last 8. 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 at home. Some ugly looking trends there for the Lakers. As far as this particular head-to-head matchup, it's been all Bucks. Milwaukee 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 trips to LA. So Milwaukee has had no problem going on the road out here. Milwaukee's been trending heavily towards unders here. 2-15 to the under in the last 17 Bucks games. 2-14 to the under in their last 16 on the road. So it's been all unders in Bucks games. On the Lakers side, they're 3-1 to the over in their last 4. 7-3-1 to the over in their last 11 at home. So the Lakers been trending towards overs. This particular matchup, though, has been unders. 2-7 to the under in their last 9 meetings. 1-3 to the under in their last 4 meetings in LA. So let's match these two teams up on the court, and we'll start with some net efficiency numbers. Bucks are 7th in overall efficiency in the last 10 games. Lakers are at 14th. So the Bucks have been playing better basketball than the Lakers, and they've actually played a stronger schedule as well. 13th in strength of schedule in the last 10 compared to 23rd for the Lakers. We'll start with the matchup for Milwaukee's offense, and edge goes to the Bucks here. EFG 10th and 19th in the last 10. Turnover rate 8 to 27, so the Lakers probably not going to be able to create turnovers here. The only category that goes towards the Lakers, free throw rate. Lakers are 1st in defensive free throw rate. Bucks are 10th. So Milwaukee's offense is used to getting trips to the foul line. Might not be there in this one. Good news for the Bucks offense when we pull up some numbers in transition. Milwaukee on the season 3rd in fast break efficiency. Lakers defensively 29th in frequency. On the season, they are 27th in points per game allowed in transition. So Bucks should get plenty of opportunities to score in the fast break. Here's the thing, though. That sounds like such a great mismatch for the Bucks offense, but on the season, Milwaukee's just 4-11 against the spread against bottom 8 defenses in transition points per game allowed. So on paper, you're like, oh, Bucks should rip the Lakers up in the fast break, but on the season, the Bucks haven't been covering against bad fast break defenses. I don't know how it makes sense, but the numbers don't lie. Shot zones for the Bucks offense, as we know, they've been heavily reliant on jump shooting. In the last 10 games, they're 12th in frequency from the long mid-range, 3rd in frequency from the above the break 3, 2nd from the corner 3. So Milwaukee has been extremely 3-point reliant. Lakers defense against the 3-point shot, 15th above the break, 17th in the corner, so pretty average there. Bucks should be able to shoot the 3 ball, but maybe not an onslaught. Overall, on this side of the court, I like the matchup for the Bucks offense. Now let's flip it around and look at the matchup for the Lakers offense. And right off the bat, we have a huge mismatch in the rebounding department. Milwaukee's defense 3rd, Lakers offense 29th. So on paper, there should not be any second chance opportunities for the Lakers. And check out the free throw rate. This is a Lakers offense that, as we know, getting to the foul line is a huge part of it. I mean, they're always top 3 in that. In the last 10 games, they're 17th. And Milwaukee's defense is 4th. So if Lakers aren't getting those trips to the foul line here, I really don't like this matchup for the Lakers offense. And when we keep digging, the matchup actually keeps getting worse for the Lakers offense. As we know, they love to run the fast break. On the season, they're 5th in frequency, 6th in efficiency in transition. may not be there. Bucks have done a really good job defending the fast break. They're 8th in efficiency, 11th in frequency, so I don't like that matchup. And if we pull up shot zones on this side, what has been the weakest part of the Bucks defense? The three-point shot. Look at their above the break 3 numbers defensively in the last 10 games. 28th in frequency, 23rd in efficiency. The Lakers don't really shoot that shot. They're 29th in frequency from there in the last 10. So I don't like this matchup for the Lakers offense at all. I think it's a great matchup for the Bucks defense. If you want to look at the numbers on the interior, because that is where the Lakers take their shots from, look at the Bucks defensive numbers there in the last 10 games. 17th against the short mid-range, 9th at the basket. So again, I like this matchup for Milwaukee's defense, which is why I'm on the Bucks here. I already took this one. I grabbed the Bucks money line at -110. I think I got it on DraftKings. So yeah, give me the Bucks money line. Next game. Rockets on the road in Portland to play the Blazers. Portland catching 5 points at home, total sitting at 218.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we should see a 3-point Rockets win. Final score 111-108 Houston. Injuries and inactives, and we'll start with Houston. Jeff Green is listed as questionable, so we don't know if he's going to play. Tari Eason is obviously out, but actually, Tari Eason just got ruled out for the season, so we'll take him off this graphic. Really sucks, man. He was off to such a good start this year. He only played about a month. So, yeah, he's been officially ruled out for the season. On the Portland side, we got Jeremy Grant listed as questionable. Kamara listed as questionable. Jabari Walker listed as questionable. DeAndre Ayton is doubtful. Scoot Henderson is doubtful. Malcolm Brogdon, Shadon Sharp, both still out. So yeah, safe to say Portland's an absolute mess. Before we get into this one, I want to point out that it's not the best spot for the Rockets, not only on the road where they haven't played as well, but it's their 3rd game in 4 days. So we might be seeing a bit of a fatigued Houston team. Betting trends on the Rockets side, 4 in a row. Rockets have covered 4 in a row, 4-0 against the spread in their last 4, just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 on the road though. They are 2-2 against the spread as road favorites. On the Portland side, also 4 in a row. Both these teams have covered 4 in a row. 4-0 against the spread in their last 4. Just 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 at home, though. So kind of the same story as the Rockets. This particular head-to-head matchup, 4-10. The Rockets are 4-10 against the spread in their last 14 meetings against Portland, but on the road in Portland, they're 4-2 against the spread in their last 6, so they've done well on the road here. Houston has definitely been trending towards unders recently. 1-6-1 to the under in their last 8, 3-6 to the under in their last 9 on the road. Portland, though, has been trending towards overs. 6-3 to the over in their last 9, 4-2 to the over in their last 6 at home. This particular head-to-head matchup has gone over. 3-4 to the over in their last 4 meetings, 4-2 to the over in their last 6 meetings in Portland. So let's match these two teams up on the court, and we'll start with some net efficiency numbers. 21st to 26th, so 2 bottom 10 teams efficiency-wise in the last 10 games. That being said, both have played very strong schedules. Houston is 4th in strength of schedule in the last 10, Portland 6th. We'll start with the matchup for the Rockets offense, and Houston actually has a nice little edge here on the offensive glass, 3rd to 16th. Look at the free throw rate, 4th to 30th. Rockets should get plenty of trips to the foul line here. Look at the turnovers, though. 1st to 15th, so Portland may be able to rip some turnovers from the Rockets. When we take a look at transition numbers on this side of the court, we got a nice angle for the Rockets offense here. On the season, Houston is 9th in fast break frequency, so they do like to run the fast break. Look at Portland's fast break defensive numbers on the season. 27th in frequency, 25th in efficiency. They are 25th in the NBA in points per game allowed in transition. But here's the thing. Houston on the season against bottom 10 fast break defenses, just 9-11-1 against the spread. So this is another one of those mismatches where it looks great on paper, but it hasn't really translated into winning bets. Shot zones for Houston's offense. If you've been handicapping Rockets games, you know there's 2 zones we need to look at here. First one being at the rim. In the last 10 games, the Rockets are 3rd in shot frequency at the rim, and that's been all season. Rockets attack the basket a lot. Portland's defense at the basket in the last 10 games, 24th and 29th. So there's another mismatch for the Rockets offense. But again, Houston on the season against bottom 10 defenses and protecting the basket, just 9-10-1 against the spread. So this is another one of those situations where it looks like a great matchup for the Rockets. They should be able to score all night at the basket, but they haven't taken advantage of it. Just 9-10-1 against the spread against these types of matchups. The other shot zone we need to take a look at for the Rockets is the above the break 3. They take a lot of shots from out there. Portland's actually got good defensive numbers out there. In the last 10 games, they're 7th in frequency, 12th in efficiency. So that's actually a nice angle for the Blazers defense. Also important to bring up some home away splits here when you're talking about the Rockets offense. Not that they're good at home, but they're 22nd in EFG at home. Drops to 29th on the road. But to be fair, we should also pull up Portland's defensive numbers. On the road, they're 14th. At home, they're 28th. So, yeah, we can point at the Rockets and being like, oh, you don't hit your shots on the road. But then we also have to point at the Blazers defense and say, oh, you can't stop anyone at home. On the other side of the ball, we got the Blazers offense, and they should also have a nice advantage on the offensive glass in this one. In the last 10 games, 1st to 15th. So the Blazers should get some second chance opportunities. And to add on to that, look at their rebounding numbers home and away. 12th in total rebounding rate at home compared to 26th on the road. So the fact that this game's in Portland should be even more second chance opportunities for the Blazers. Portland should also get plenty of trips to the foul line in this one. On the last 10 games, they're just 13th in free throw rate. But look at the Rockets defense all the way back at 27th. Rockets have been hacking. Overall, the edge goes to Houston's defense over Portland's offense. I was just pointing out that there is some positive angles for the Blazers here. When we look at shot zones for the Blazers offense, we can see they've been attacking the interior a lot. In the last 10 games, they're 5th in frequency at the rim, 11th from the short mid-range. That's actually a positive for the Rockets defense because protecting the interior, protecting the basket, it's been a strength for Houston all season, and it hasn't changed. In the last 10 games, they're 6th in efficiency at the rim, 12th in efficiency against the short mid-range, so that's not a good angle. That's a good angle for Houston's defense. As far as betting this game, I can tell you straight up, there's no way I'm laying 5 points on the road with the Rockets. No chance in hell. Do I actually have the backbone to pull the trigger and take Portland at a short number like 5, though? I don't think so. It'll be Portland or pass. I'm also considering an under. I want to talk to a couple people first, but I'm going to say Portland or pass, under or pass for now. Like I mentioned earlier, we got live shows tomorrow back-to-back. 3 p.m. Eastern Time college basketball, 4 p.m. Eastern Time NBA. We'll go through all the games. I'll bring on guests. We'll make our final decisions like we always do. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. If you want my top bets for all sports parlays of the day, or you'd like to join our Discord. Oh, and also I'm posting overnight bets now, and we've had a lot of success with them. So usually I post those around 2 a.m. Eastern Time. So want to go check those out. They're on KyleKirms.com. NBA Friday night. We got a huge basketball weekend here. Loaded college basketball Saturday, NBA all weekend. We got NASCAR on Sunday. Let's get this weekend started properly. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.